for who you are. We thank you for the amazing opportunity that we have to be able to go to a place like Falls Creek. I thank you for the amazing things that you did in our students' lives, the way that you grew, not only the students, but us adults as well while we were there. That it was such an amazing thing to see this week, God. We just thank you for that opportunity. We thank you for this church family who's so loving and supporting of all of our student ministries. And we just ask that as we move through this service, that you will take the things that are said, take the experiences that were had, and use them to bring glory to yourself and to bring us closer to you. We ask all this in your name. Amen. All right, Ryan, here you go.
Someone's a little nervous over here. All right. Let's go. Okay. All right. So nearly all the kids are here that went to Falls Creek with us this year, and as much as I would love to sit up here and be long-winded and tell you all about all the experiences that I got to witness, my turn will come. But I would like for y'all to hear from the students as far as their experiences for the week and what they had their takeaways were. Who wants to start?
I think the seniors.
Not me.
The privileges. Seniors going last.
No, I didn't say that.
Cash is-
I didn't say that.
Cash volunteer.
Cash volunteer?
No, I didn't do that.
Cash, you got it?
I didn't volunteer.
Cash, didn't you say the other day at church, after the concert, you guys didn't want to share with the church?
Yeah.
All
I didn't say that.
right. You can say just that.
Something I learned at Falls Creek was that it's not just about learning about God, it's about spending time with Him and doing activities that, it's basically just about doing activities where you learn about Him, but you have a lot of fun, and that's something I really liked about it. So, another thing I really liked about it is when we went to like Tabernacle, and we listened, it felt like, this is my first year going, this was my first year going to Falls Creek, so I felt like it was really fun, and it's definitely something I want to do. Anyways, back to Tabernacle. The music felt like it was like entering your soul, and it made you really want to stand up and just sing along with the songs, and some of the songs I never even heard. Anyways, there were some things I didn't like about it, like in the dorms you couldn't have your phone, or you had to walk in a group of 3, but some of those were good, because like if you had a group of 2, someone could be hurt, and then that one person had to stay with them, and then you didn't have the third person, so nobody could go get help. So at the end of the day, I respect that you had to have 3, but I wish it was 2 sometimes. And something else I loved about Falls Creek is the Bible study. Anyways, the Bible study was fun. It was mostly about like learning about the Lord and learning about what He has to say about through Scripture. Anyways, something I loved about that is the games. Ryan and Sarah did a really good job with picking out the games that we had, and also Chris. And also the sermon in Tabernacle, I thought he was so cool. Anyways, the dude was armless, and he had so many armless jokes. One of his jokes were like, where he was in the airport, right?
Yeah.
And he headbutted somebody. And what was it called?
He's headbutting to get their attention.
He was headbutting to get their attention, and he almost got knocked out. Anyways, he was just probably one of the best scriptures or pastors I've probably ever seen. He did a really good job at explaining it. Anyways, I also in Tabernacle I got saved. What made me really want to get saved was just the experience and how it feels. And what else? I kind of at a loss for words. I think I've said everything I was going to say, but I think I have a few more things to say. Anyways, about me getting saved. Where was I at? It's just, it's a good moment, and I want to surrender and give my life to Jesus. So, my baptism is in almost 2 weeks, right? Yeah, next week on Sunday, if anybody wants to show up to it. And I'm done. Get this mic away from me. Who wants it? Oh, wait. One more thing. Breakouts. Breakouts were not my strong suit. The only one I went to was the Secret Church, and I don't even think I really found that one. You had just, the password was just, why do you need a password for some secret church? The password was never humble yourself before the Lord, right?
Humble yourself.
Alright. Well, I'm done.
Yeah, come here.
A couple of my favorite things about Falls Creek were the breakouts. My favorite one that I went to was called Reach, and it was basically just about how to share the gospel with people in your school. And I definitely think I'm going to use what I got from that when I go to school again. Another one of my favorite things was pin trading. Falls Creek is really big on pins. Most churches do like a theme pin, but our church didn't for some reason.
My first year in college.
But I got some really good pins in I have a really big collection, and I got some really, really good pins this year. It was all overall a really fun year.
So if any of y'all's in pins from back in the day, Kyle would be somebody to talk to.
Spencer!
That's it. Retain your name, Spencer.
She said she would go third.
Okay.
Okay, well, after she goes,
And then I'll go.
you, and then just go in a row.
Nobody volunteered to even go. Everybody said I volunteered, but
Okay, guys. A little nervous. Anyways, so one of my favorite breakouts that I went to was the campus ministries, where it like talked about how you had to go to school you didn't have to, but talk about Jesus to like your students at school and stuff. And I liked that one because I feel like it had such a big impact on other people. Another thing was the workouts was awful. We had to walk so much. I did all my goals in like the first, I don't know how long. I walked up to the 3 crosses like every single night because that was the only thing that I could do in the matter of the hour that we had of free time. My favorite part about the whole Falls Creek was probably the worship, because out of all the time that I've been coming to church and singing all these songs, it was just something about this song that made me want to throw up my hands to worship it. It was really special, I guess. I really liked the family groups that I was in, or the family group I was in, even though I did not like the color of the group, because it was green.
Great day.
That's that great team of one, by the way.
But green is not a cute color. So I had no clothes to go with it. Anyways, I liked it because everybody had their own way of like explaining what they thought about it. And yeah. And then overall I had a great time. The only bad thing that I did not like was that there was no pineapple at Falls Creek.
Amanda said you ate good the rest of the last of the
But
week.
anyways, the food was good. Thanks, Amanda. And you.
Okay, so I also went to the Reach Breakout over the campus ministry, and what I mostly got from that is that if you went to the office and asked if you could do the ministry meeting, they kind of can't turn you down. And then I went to another breakout, and it was about being smartphone free, and what I mainly got from that was that disengaging from your phone is a major distraction removed, so that you can more focus your life on Christ. And then I went to Daybreak, and it's kind of like a morning church service before Tabernacle, and I got a lot from that, but mostly just that we put other things before Jesus, and that he needs to be the first thing. And then I also went to this thing called Secret Church, and it's about we were putting ourselves kind of in Somalia's shoes, and we had to run around the campus trying to figure out where the secret church was. And then another thing that I learned in Tabernacle was that surrendering is servanthood, and that servants are always available / present, always helpful, always reliable, and always humble. One of my favorite things this year was that one of the lead singer girls sang multiple songs in Spanish. And then some of the fun that we had on the boys' side of the dorm was that Tab got beat up with a mattress and beat up with multiple pillows. And that's it.
My favorite thing about Falls Creek was it was really fun and a way to get closer to God and learn about Him. I learned about the secret church, basically people who didn't get to know Jesus and the things Him and His Father did for us. Then I learned that God does not tempt, and if it's not something good, it is not from God. And do not run down them hills. Most dangerous thing ever. Me and this girl right here fell 4 times. No way. It was a lot of fun. We would make a lot of friends. It was awesome. And the Tabernacle was one of my favorite things ever. I liked to sing and jump around when it was good. And I like singing to my friends. So Tabernacle was awesome. Y'all should just go.
My favorite thing about Falls Creek was getting to know everybody and being able to actually open up, because I've gone to Falls Creek before and had a really bad experience. I'm really, I don't know, I feel welcomed here, and I want to thank all of you for making me feel welcomed. One of my breakout things I done was going to a secret church. A lot of us have talked about it. Just realizing that people can't get to God like we can just hit different, and it's really upsetting. I'm really happy that Ryan and Sarah have made me feel welcome, and all my youth group. And also, I can't walk down hills, so
She has that story to prove it. She can't.
thank you all.
This year was more fun than last year because I actually knew people. So, one of the breakouts I went to told us how to start up FCA and stuff at school, and that they can't tell you no. And yeah.
So one of the breakouts I went to was a secret church, and I did not find it at all because it was confusing, and I've never ran so fast in my life. My whole body hurts. I fell down at least 30 times. I recommitted my life to Jesus on Wednesday night. The thing I liked about Falls Creek was just the atmosphere in the tab and just how, because it was my first year, just seeing how they did it and just seeing what stuff they do. And I just really enjoyed Falls Creek.
I forgot to say that I did get saved.
My favorite part was how the worship band got assigned my shoot, and one of the breakouts I went to showed me like behind the scenes and how they like worshiped and stuff. I'm done.
I would have slept better if Chris didn't have the AC on 67 degrees, and if Tab would shut up and stop laughing in the middle of the night, I could not sleep. But it did make it small, I will say. Because you would not quit leaving it alone. But if you would have put it out on at least 70, I would have slept a lot better. I was freezing.
I see you go last. Over there now, correct.
Hiding, not hiding.
No, Isaac volunteered. Isaac has to go.
I went to one breakout. I did not go to two. Yeah, I left.
They were required to go to 2 for the whole week.
I went to Why Be Normal, and we basically talked about James chapter 1 to 4. It talks about how trials produce maturity. Thank you. You didn't even help, but okay. Maturity, and how God does not tempt, but the devil does. Knowing that I need to have more patience for people, and I had a lot of fun getting to know people. That's it.
All right, well, good morning,
Is
everybody.
that tic-tac-toe?
I doodle, okay? Anyway, that time we did have a great experience, but one thing I also learned about Secret Camp, apparently a lot of people could not find it, I'm just saying, but we went up there and there was about 3-step verification code, really nice, really well set up, but we go up there and they start talking about Somalia and how good we have it here in America, because we can pray openly. But in many other countries, they get killed just for saying his name or anything else that they do that could resemble the Lord. Having the Bible is illegal, anything resembling the Lord is legal. Anything you could do resembling the Lord gets you killed. After that, though, we did go to Tabernacle, and they do have, as you know, the man was on us. He had some good puns. He was a real nice fellow, but I feel like he gave the word in a way that a lot of people haven't heard before, and sharing his experience with how the Lord helped him through his rough times, especially since he has this ability that has hindered him. But he doesn't see it as much as a hindrance as he does a gift. He's used it to share the Lord in many ways. I think that's really neat, really cool. So I figure I want to talk about that. But yeah, dude, that's all for me. But
So, my favorite thing about Falls Creek is I've really learned about God a lot, ways that no other thing taught me. It has allowed me to expand my wisdom and I improve on my praying a lot. God showed me my calling for preaching the gospel around the world. And I'm preparing myself mentally now, since God has more than just that for me. He has a calling for my brother too that just got saved at Falls Creek. A few learned at Falls Creek was discipline is one of the things to help grow, especially self-control, because we are going to go through a lot of temptations. And in order to grow, we need to lean on God, not us. And one of the things I went to was the Secret Church, where they go into depth. This is the first time I heard about this, especially in church, persecution. I have learned that millions and millions, especially in other countries than here, will be persecuted for their faith, or hated or slandered in any way, shape, or form. Another thing I'd like to say is, Falls Creek, this one has been the best one by far. I have grown closer to God more than ever. God has kind of opened my eyes to lean onto Him, not anyone else but God. I've grown a lot more. I've expanded my wisdom in Falls Creek in a week, which I can say I'm glad. My brother Dalton has grown with me as well. He's now getting into praying and Bible reading more than ever, as so am I. And that is about all I have to say.
Lane got through up here by accident, by the way. He was a sponsor this year. I'm still mentally, he's a senior.
In case wants to go.
Okay, my favorite part about Falls Creek was getting to know all the adults better. I had Candace and Travis in my group, and I feel absolutely blessed to get to know them. And I got to know Missy and Chris a lot better, so that was great. Getting to know all the kids better was just really great.
Okay. It was fun.
Just stay behind me.
I don't know if I can do this. It was good.
I think it's safe to say all of us seniors, we're not really students, we're more of sponsors as in leading our group. So I'm going to say it as a sponsor perspective. I think what I really enjoyed throughout this week was, hey, I'm talking to now.
I'm saying you keep it up for next year.
I think it was really important that to see a lot of these kids interact that in ways I've never seen before and really be eager to go learn and go write notes down and really pay attention. From the past couple years, you don't really see a lot of kids pay attention. And so I think just for everybody as a group to be eager for, in-cabin discussion and family group and stuff like that and be able to write stuff down and go to breakouts and be really eager to learn, I think that was really important.
Lane, as your first year sponsor, would you like anything to say?
Right this way.
Very good. There's not a pass. There's a pass. Travis, he wants you up there too. He said you gotta share some of your wisdom. That's okay for Travis. Try it out. It's great.
Ryan's gonna pretend like I wasn't there. This is.
I was gonna mention you.
You're gonna mention me briefly.
You wouldn't say that. I assumed you was tired.
I am tired. I wanted to talk. One, I was not up there a whole lot this year. Just we were back and forth, so we didn't get to go to the breakouts. But one, the breakouts that they had this year looked amazing. But two, I want to brag on the group that we had as our sponsors, because they were not only supportive of these kids, but obviously trekked all over Falls Creek to take them to breakouts, support them in this, and then I got to hear all about every day when we came up, how much they enjoyed their small groups, the breakout sessions, all the things that, and they just kept talking about how excited they were for these things, which, like I said, is not abnormal. Falls Creek is amazing, but it is such a blessing when you get to hear how much of a difference it makes. And I was like, I would not say I'm jealous of the sleep deprivation, but all the other experiences, we just had an amazing group of sponsors this year, and we appreciated all the prayers and support to get us there. And we just hope that you guys, you know, got something from getting to hear these kids. I know I did, just from being in the cabin most of the time. And so we definitely hope to have even more people come next year. But if you've never got to come up, whether you go as a sponsor or anything, I hope you get to come up and experience next year, because it is just amazing. Like me, like I said, coming back and forth every day was kind of like visiting instead of just being there. And sometimes it's hard when you're there in the middle of it to get to see how amazing it really is. And so I hope you guys get to come up and visit next year. And if you are brave enough, we welcome.
I would love to have you all as sponsors. So.
Yeah, I was like, we would love you guys to come and impact these kids and just come up and support them. Like I said, even if you're not a sponsor, it just means a ton to the people who are, and then the kids that are there, just to know how exciting it is to either step forward in faith or grow in your faith, because that is something that I think why Falls Creek is so special, because it does that. It encourages that. It's all about it. I mean, the whole week you're just talking about your faith and growing in God and how you can take it into all aspects of your life. And so getting to continue that out here, I just ask you guys to encourage our new salvations, our recommitments, and then just our kids in general to remember how exciting it really is to have this blessing. And like I said, the Secret Church was something this year that I thought was just the coolest thing to remind us of how amazing it is here and how blessed we are to just get to freely worship God. So I will hand it over to Ryan, who is there.
I'll let you know about her. She's awesome. She helped me. Chris and Missy always plan a lot this year. Travis and Haley helps us a lot. I mean, like she said, I definitely want to start off with that, because y'all are wired, y'all will be fine. Y'all won't get exhausted. But my sponsors, I want to thank y'all, because I know like Travis and Haley, it was their first year to ever attempt this. They've helped with children's church, but they've never got the full week. And the full week definitely wears you out. You're definitely tired by the end of it. But I honestly can't say enough for the kids, the experience and all. A lot of y'all know from last year is my first time to ever attend Falls Creek, ever. And to turn around, and I let Chris kind of take the lead, because he said, you can do it yourself or you can shadow. And I was like, I'll shadow this year. And so he was great in that, and we talked a lot and got a lot of experience out of him, and you know, to-dos, not to-dos, and that sort of thing. So having that helper there for me was amazing. But to step in that role as, instead of last year, I'm there to have fun, I'm just gonna go wild, to you have to answer questions now. It was a lot different. But no, these kids were amazing, and even the new kids we've had this year that I'm sure some of you have met, some of you haven't met, but we have a wonderful church, guys. I've heard it from several kids. Cashin mentioned it to me. He actually had stood up in front of the group the other day before dinner and thanked all of us for just how welcoming we are, not just our youth group, but all of y'all. Y'all all not shunned him or just, oh, there's somebody new who just walked off. Y'all been approachable. Y'all curious about it, you know. And that was something they've all said to me that they've noticed about our church. We're all very welcoming. And so that's something I want to encourage with y'all and to continue doing. And as a way of remembering, like, hey, y'all just saying hi to a kid matters. But I thought you were going to say something. You looked at me. Chris didn't give me a time limit, so.
productive days.
Yeah. But,
I did want to say I was proud of you guys as seniors. I know it's scary up on stage, but the stories Ryan told me about you guys as seniors, the advice that y'all gave, and the support y'all gave to all the younger people. We talked about the adults being supportive, but I was like, that means a lot, even if these kids didn't know you beforehand, y'all are just, people look up to you more than you know, and to hear you guys stepped up so much this week was really cool. So.
absolutely. So the way we split the groups up this year, we had 3 groups, and we had to have 3 seniors. So we put a senior in each group. And it actually worked out great because without them realizing it, they kept asking to, once they found out what group they were in, they said, hey, I want to be switched to this group. Like, no, that's the whole point. We're getting all those comfort zones. You're not going to be around your buddies all the time. And not everybody liked it. They were, not happy about it first. But that was one great thing that I noticed was me and Missy were in a group together. And about day 2, somewhere in there, yeah, you do. And, but about day 2, we had sat down for our little kind of sponsor meeting after all the kids go to bed, and that was something we noticed was, everybody was like, are y'all having a hard time getting the kids to kind of open up to you and things like that? And me and Missy were just, nah. We embrace the awkwardness. We just won't talk. We'll just look at each other until someone wants to speak. And something amazing did happen, though, was the very next night, we all sit down for that same little meeting again, and Chris walks up and says, hey, we broke the code. I said, what do you mean you broke the code? He said, we let the seniors teach. And Lane. But, so for me, someone that's known Kate and Lane for several years now, to watch them 2 this week, Lane is a sponsor, Kate is a senior, to actually, and Marina, she didn't talk much, but I'm proud of all y'all for going, but I'm talk these for a few minutes, but getting to watch Maria for one, she was in my group, for example. I told her, I said, I've seen you at church, I've seen you attend church, you engage in conversations in class. I said, but this week, I said, again, the same thing. I don't know what it was about Tuesday, Wednesday-ish. I said, but this new little light came alive in Maria, and you could really see that want to there. She just, I got to know more, and just, I'm proud of her. And Kate. Kate, a lot of y'all know, he sits back here and plays the drums and usually has just no emotion, nothing like that. But to watch him grow into a leader amongst the boys that were in his groups and in the dorm room, we got several videos about that, him being the dad of the dorm rooms, yelling at all the kids. But, so I really do hope y'all come back with me next year. And again, I just want to thank my sponsors, because without y'all, this would have been a struggle, right? And the cooks, going out there, the cooks. Don't forget your cooks. Chris told me that day 1. Don't make the cooks mad. But we had one funny thing that did happen was Friday night, it's your last night. I told the kids all day, I said, we're going to stay up late, we're going to play games, jungle ball tournaments, whatever, we're going to go all out. And as soon as I said it, all my sponsors looked at me like, no, you are? I was like, yeah, we're going to stay up late Friday night. And so we had all of our seniors get up and give advice to the kids as far as what to bring back to the next year, the kind of attitudes they need to bring back with them. And Maria, she said something that I thought was amazing, that I honestly felt the same way, was that she said, it takes all week for you to get that energy, and you're excited, you're pumped, you're just, falls exhausted, but then you go home in the morning. She said, bring that same energy from Friday night with you Monday morning. That way you get to have that amazing experience all week long. And Kate gave a lot of good wisdom, shared knowledge of what he's going to do to try to grow and walk in his spiritual walk. Memory, she had a great time this year. Regrets that she didn't get to go as much as she did or should have. I'm with him in the same boat. I wish I would have went more as a child. But after everything was over, Chris turned and looked at me and said, "All right, it's official now." I said, "What?" He said, "I'm done. It's yours. You're in charge now." And for a minute, especially around the hour of 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, that all the sponsors may have been regretting it, because as soon as he announced it, I'm like, let the chaos begin. And we played games till about 3. Like this. But anyway, I had a lot more to say. I should have wrote stuff down like the kids did. You're right, I would have. But that is something that I want to point out too, is that we did have 5 kids go up this week, and I think 1 recommitted his life to Jesus, and the other 4 accepted Jesus for the first time ever. And all of that is supporting us and encouraging all these kids. And but sponsors, did y'all have anything you wanted to throw in? All right, here comes Missy.
You guys have an amazing group here. This youth group is so encouraging and so kind to one another, and I was very impressed at the way that they just carried each other through the week. Just so supportive. Am I shredding? No, yes, I'm shredding. My hair is all falling out, y'all. That's how much fun we had this week. But I loved getting to see each of them in action, and I got to see each of them live up to their potential this week. This is an incredible group, and the way that they love the Lord was very evident in the way that they behaved this week. I would also like to brag on Lane. I think that he really stepped up as a sponsor this week. He didn't just sit around and do nothing. He was working, and he put a lot into it, and I appreciate you, Lane. Thank you. Miss Candace is like the Mary Poppins. She brings all the things with her. She is prepared for anything that comes up, and she's like, let's do this. I mean, she is all in. Whatever we go do, Miss Candace is in the middle of it, and she's encouraging the students, and they're just so drawn to her, and she just has a magnetic personality. Haley just jumps in and serves everywhere, and I really enjoyed getting to serve with Haley and Candace and Sarah this week. We just really had a great time. I appreciate that Haley got to be Bentley's second mom this week. Of course, Bentley tells me how much cooler Haley is than me all the time anyways, but Miss Haley is so much cooler because she's not her mom. But anyway, we really enjoyed getting to serve together. I think that, in Maria, I see a lot of encouragement. She just saw somebody that needed encouragement. She went to them, and she was so kind. And they weren't asked to do these things. They took that initiative and just led out. And Maria is an encourager. Memory is super incredible person. If you guys don't know her, you need to get to know her. She is super quiet and shy, but she is a servant. She just, gives her everything she's got. When she sees something that needs to be done, she's all in. From cleaning up messes to going and sit with somebody who looks lonely and homesick, she just picks out the ones that need her, and she goes, and she does whatever's asked of her or whatever's not asked of her. Kate is a leader, and Kate comes in, and he's quiet and he doesn't open up, and I'm kind of like, I don't know how this is going to go with Kate lead now. Chris is like, oh yeah, and there's a side of Kate that I didn't know that I got to see this week. Kate truly is a leader, and I was so proud to get to see him just really serving the Lord this week in the way that he stepped up and said, this is what needs to be done, this is what God's asking of me, I'm here to do it. They surrendered what they wanted, and these seniors stepped up. And it was neat to get to see you guys take this faith that you've been taught and to make it your own. And I'm super proud of each of you. blast with our small group. These kids had so much to say about, you know, just challenging them and saying, what does your relationship with God look like? Pinpoint what it is that you need to grow in. And they each picked out the areas that they felt the weakest in, and not just said, I'm gonna figure out what it is, but they said, I'm gonna confess to you where I'm struggling. Maybe I don't spend enough time in the Word. Maybe I don't spend enough time praying. Maybe I lose my temper, whatever it is. And then they prayed for one another. And the way that they said, okay, I'm not gonna judge you in this thing that you're struggling with. Instead, I'm gonna pray for you and encourage you in that. I was so proud. But this set of students is incredible. And it was really awesome to get to be a part of it. Thank you guys for being a church that loves your students enough that you made this possible. Thank you to the ones that offered scholarships. Thank you for those of you who have given to help cover the costs. Thank you to those who have prayed and supported and encouraged. Do not stop praying for Ryan and Sarah. They need all the prayers. As amazing as these kids are, they bring a lot of really difficult things that they need to talk through. And so you guys pray for Ryan and Sarah that we can be that supportive church family that we need to be for them. But Ryan and Sarah know what this is about, and they did a fantastic job, you guys. They are just seeking the Lord with all their hearts, and that is evident in the way that God blessed our group this week. And I could not pick a better group to go with than this one right here. I love all of you guys, and I'm proud of each of you.
Here's going last. Y'all think I'm long-winded? But, I do have a slideshow, so y'all, I apologize, I'm not great at remembering. I have, books and books of ideas and things that I wanted to say, but you get up here and you start talking on one subject and then you just lose it all. But I just want to say that I am very appreciative of everyone in here and y'all choosing to trust me with this opportunity to be able to lead these kids and the support that I received from each one of y'all. And in doing that, anytime I've had questions or concerns, anybody that I've gone to, y'all have been nothing but helpful. Okay. No, okay. But there was, real quick, sorry, there is one thing that just came to me.
This is why they're up at 3 a.m. I was like,
yeah, I am a talker. I told Missy and all them, I said, Sarah always, she has to be the one to corral me because I will start just venturing out and talking to people wherever we go. And I'll tell her always laughing, I said, I'm a peacock, you gotta let me fly. And I said, I gotta go. But anyway, they shared a story about some of the missionaries that were doing a lot of work in China. And one of the guys said that he got to witness this, and he said it's a secret church. This is another place where they're doing all the secret churches. And so you have to know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody to get into this place. And there's like, kind of like what the kids had to go through. You go to one person and you get a code, and they say travel with a small group, and you go find the next person. And it just kind of goes on like that. You get little clues, and you finally get there. And the real life secret church actually works like that. You can't just go to it. You have to figure it out and find their clues and all that kind of stuff. But he said one thing neat that he got to witness, he said as the guy was finishing up, he said this family comes up and is walking down the aisle, and they come up as a family group, and he said he notices that the husband in front, the father, he's holding a Bible, and he's walking with it and carrying it up there, and he said, what are we doing? He's looking to his interpreter, and he said, just watch. And so he stops and he turns and he takes that Bible. Each family member of his family group kisses the Bible and then hands it off to the other family. And he said, I don't understand. He said, we only have one Bible. 200-something people in our secret church, one Bible. Each family gets it for a week. They get it once a week. So one whole week they had to study his Bible, and he said they were just all in tears. The reason they were in tears, they're so hungry and so desperate for God's word. They tried for that entire week to make it through the entire Bible, and they still lacked, I think it was like 6 books they didn't get. So now they have to wait another 6 months before they get it back. And so, but they're that desperate for it. And the guy said something that struck home with me, because I'm sure a lot of y'all are like me, is he said, I seen that, got to witness that. He said, all I could think was at home, on my bookshelf at home, he said, I bet I got 30 Bibles. In our youth room, we have 20, 30 Bibles just sitting on the shelf. At home, at my personal home, I have 6 or 7 on the shelf. These people are that desperate for that word that But anyway, just that was something very eye-opening to me, that these people are that dedicated and everything, that we get distracted with so much here. We have that freedom to just study whenever we want, and we don't take the same opportunities they do. So that was something that I'd like to take home from that, is that how ungrateful we can be when we are so blessed to be able to do this right here. For y'all to be able to support these kids to go to Falls Creek, to a public place like that that's worshiping our true God, and not everybody takes it serious. And it's not our fault. I mean, it's the world we live in, but it's amazing how complacent we get and don't realize how good we really have it. But I just wanted to share that one with y'all, because that was just mind-blowing to me. And oh, hang on, Candace has something she wants to say. Sorry, Chris.
To piggyback off what he said, our speaker, Daniel Ritchie, was like, don't forget how good you have it. And that was kind of the point that he drove home. And he said, for some of you guys, y'all just live right down the road from here, and it's just camp. You know, he said, but this is the jewel, the belt buckle of America. He said, it's not often that you see 6,000 kids worshiping God, and it's something that I've never experienced. I was joking in class when we moved here. We were driving around to get a feel for the area and look around, and we actually drove in front of the gates of Falls Creek, and I was like, that's a cult. I don't know what that is, but they've got their own water tower. That's crazy. But it's not. I was actually really excited whenever I got the opportunity to come and visit, and it was just awe-inspiring. We're in the Bible Belt, and we do have it really good, and we are surrounded by like-minded people, but to be amongst these kids and to be in that room fellowshipping, he said, this is just a slice of heaven. This is what it's going to be like when we're there. We're all going to be together, and it's going to be like this, times like 100, you know, and it was just like, just awe-inspiring to think, like, we get to spend this 1 week, but we could spend eternity, you know, with our Father in that same manner. And it's just it's refreshing, but he said, don't forget to remember the good and take that home with you and live it out every day. And so for me, I was just so encouraged by these kids, the fellowship that we were able to have. I tend to be kind of to myself, but with God, you know, He gives us the tools we need to do those things that He asks us to do. So I was really grateful that I was asked to come along and be a part of this. So thank you, Ryan, and everybody else. I really enjoyed growing closer with you guys.
I think that's about all we got.
Come on, Bruce.
I'm sure there'll be more that I'll talk about later, but y'all will probably hear from me soon.
All right. Yeah, well, y'all can go sit down. Okay, so we're not going to forget the video, but we're going to wrap up the service with the normal stuff, and then we'll watch the video at the end. But I did want to share just real quick. Everybody turn to 1 Samuel. I got to get my sermon. No, just kidding. We'll pick back up in Samuel next week. But I was going to read in James. That's where our study was this week, James chapter 4. But a little bit further past James chapter 4 was some interesting stuff, and I thought it pertains specifically to what we have done. So James chapter 5, verses 16 through 18 says this: confess your trespasses to one another and pray for one another that you may be healed. The effective, fervent prayer of a righteous man avails much. Elijah was a man with a nature like ours, and he prayed earnestly that it would not rain, and it did not rain on the land for 3 years and 6 months. And he prayed again, and the heaven gave rain, and the earth produced its fruit. When I read through that, I've read that a bunch of times, but this week as I was reading on and through some of our study stuff, it just hit me really hard because I know that our church has prayed extremely hard for Falls Creek this year. I know that so many people have been pouring over these students, over the adults that were going to go, and we saw God show up and totally shake people's lives up. It was amazing to watch. Seeing the growth in these students, I sat there Friday night while people are playing and talking with students about what's heaven going to be like. Well, what's the new world going to look like? That's not a typical conversation on a Friday night with a student, but that was a student hungry to find out what else is there, what more is there to know, and we saw that all week long. I was amazed at the seniors. I know everybody bragged on them, but you guys for real, I kept going back and telling Amanda and Cindy, I said, I wish I could put a camera up in our small group and let you guys watch your boys lead this group. It just blew my mind away. Because I'll be honest, I didn't crack the code of a genius mindset. I tossed the paper going, I've tried everything I know, you boys do it. And then I sit there and I was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I shut up a long time ago and let these boys talk? Because as soon as Kate and Lane started, every one of the kids in our group opened up. And they like Kate kept saying all week long, they locked in and they were ready to go. So it was, I believe the older guys coined the term for themselves, the big dogs. But it was funny, they were the younger guys were playing ultimate ping pong, and they said, jungle pong, sorry. At one point, one of the guys said, that's not the way the big boys play it. And so it was just funny because these guys look up to you guys. And the example that y'all set is huge, it's amazing. So what I want to do to wrap up the service, we're going to have a worship team come up. They've got a couple songs, and we're going to close with worship, and then we'll have an invitation time right at the end. But as they get in place, I just want to encourage you guys, while they're singing their two songs, while we're singing with them, you stand up, participate in the song. If you want to come up here and pray, come up here and pray. Whatever you feel led to do, you just take care of it. Because I'm telling you, watching these students this year was just amazing. I told them at the end, I've gone to camp for many years. I've been in charge of camp for many years. And it was just awesome to watch this group gel together. Very little, we had a few bumps in the road, but very little things that we had to deal with, and it was just awesome. So let's stand together and worship to bring a close to this service.
You know, there's an old saying that, guys, you would believe this. If mama's not happy, nobody's happy, right? Well, I got good news for you, men. We're going to a place where everybody's going to be happy. Well, there's a happy land of promise. Oh, hang on just a minute. Did we not change that to G? I thought we did. I just about lost my voice and I knew something was not right. Well, there's a happy land of promise for the kingdom of God. There's a name of ourselves, Lord, with us on the means that and the conquer and grow. Everybody will be happy over there. Well, everybody will be happy over there. We will shout. satisfied with just a cloudy low. A little silver and a little gold. But in that city where the ransom is shine, I wanna go from that silver line. I got bags just for the hilltop, and that my grandeur will never grow. And someday yonder we will never wonder, but walk the streets now, our tourists go. Don't think me toward one deserted or lonely. I'm not discouraged. I'm never bound, but it's the future. It's such a city. I want a mansion up in the ground. I got a mansion just for the hilltop, and that my grandeur will never grow. And someday yonder we will never wonder, but walk the streets now, our tourists go. One more time now. I've got a mansion in that bright land where we'll never grow. And someday yonder we will never wonder, but walk the streets now, our tourists go.
All right, me and Ryan are going to be right up here up front. If you'd like to come up, this will be our invitation time. So while we sing this song.
I sense an awesome moving of the Holy
moves. Yes, God still moves in the heart of His people. He still moves. He does not sleep, nor does He slumber. God still moves. Yes, He still moves. Sing it one more time. God still moves. Yes, God still moves in the heart of His people. He still moves. He does not sleep, nor does He slumber. God still moves. Yes, He still moves.
All right, you may be seated. We want to be conscious of everybody's schedules. So I know we're a little bit after normal service, but we would love for you guys to say we're going to watch the camp video. The kids had a blast. There's a lot of good stuff. Sarah put the show together for us. So if you need to leave, feel free to